Hey everyone, it's Katherine. Welcome to my channel. I have some exciting news today. I have figured out a way for us to actually fight back against all the blocking that's happening and all the censorship that's happening on Facebook and Twitter and Google, which means it means YouTube. I have figured out a way, and it's an old school way of doing things, and it's just something that hasn't been done in a while. And it's the way that people in the media have actually done it before. We just haven't had to do it because they didn't think it up and didn't tell us how to do it. And so, yeah, so I was like, oh, we'll just use that. And it's a nonviolent method. So I'm really excited to do it. So basically it's called voting with your wallet. So I looked up the top advertisers for Facebook and Google, and also the mainstream media like CNN and NBC and basically all the mainstream media that is like filtering out a ton of voices. Like when they cut a stream, like someone's actually giving their point of view, and then they cut the feed. They'll even cut the feed. If you look on YouTube, you'll find out that even if one of their own people is saying like a keyword, the feed automatically cuts. Even if they're arguing against that keyword, just if a keyword sounds, the feed is automatically cut, which is just censorship. I mean, and that's how people, young people are so easily triggered nowadays, because they're used to hearing only one thing all the time, and they get comfortable with that young thing. They're not comfortable with hearing a whole variety of voices. And if you're not comfortable with a variety of voices, you know, then you only get comfortable with one way, and that one way gets narrower and narrower and narrower. And we saw that on Valentine's Day when even love was called, it wasn't inclusive enough. And I'm like, love is the ultimate inclusive thing. Like, everyone needs love. If a baby isn't held, it dies. So when there's a war on love, we have a problem. Like, war is the most inclusive thing. And so we need to actually like become comfortable with our differences again. We need to be able to have a variety of voices out there, not to mention that like it's in the Constitution. It's like free speech is supposed to be, that's our civil right. Like, we're supposed to all have the ability to speak. And if Twitter and Facebook and everything is going to say they give us the right to speak, and that's what they say in their terms of service, and if we agree to let them collect all this data and make all this money, because they're still collecting all this data on us. Like they said, we heard from them, they said, you know, well, in exchange for using our service, you know, the way you're paying for it is that we collect all the data about you and then we sell it to advertisers. So advertisers now actually can say your name, they can say your address, they can say your face, and they can say everything you buy because of what they collect on you in social media. But we aren't actually getting the benefits of the service because we aren't able to share our things. They aren't able to be searched. They aren't able to be, you know, they're being shadow banned and everything. And evidence isn't, we're not able to share our videos. They're taken down on YouTube. So we're not actually getting the terms of service agreement that we've agreed to. So I'm like, until we get the same rights as Antifa and BAM and all of those people, until we have the same voice, you know, I looked up the top advertisers for all of these media organizations, and the top advertisers in the top, very, very, very top is Starbucks. And there are others, but Starbucks is a really, really easy thing to cut out. And Starbucks, you know, has responded to bans in the past, and it's a really easy thing to let Starbucks know. I mean, you can definitely go ahead and pick it in front of it and just do hashtag stop the block and let people know, you know, Starbucks is actually the biggest advertiser to all the people who are blocking and sounding out your voice. 90% of all political voices, libertarians, I mean, we've seen it. I've shared links with you on my Twitter. I'm doing a lot of activity on Twitter now. We've seen it. Like, it's not just alt-right voices. You know, they like to say it's alt-right, but it's like libertarians, it's liberals, it's moderate liberals, it's any voice, independents, like literally everything. Like, there's this poor, what really triggered it for me today was there's this poor, sorry, it makes me upset, is a guy named Sassy Gay Republican. You know, I was just like, you say you fight, you say he was just banned off Twitter. And he's like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? He's this young millennial guy. And they banned him. He had like 40,000 followers. you couldn't even share a video. Like, do you understand that? Like, for all, they're like, oh, we love and we support transgender rights unless you have a political view other than ours. And I watch those videos of Twitter and Google and those videos and in the workplace. And they say now, they'll ultimately say, like, you listen about CNN and getting hired. There are articles out there. The mainstream media has actually put out articles that say, if you're a liberal, that's how you get hired today. Nowadays, that's how you get hired. Like, that's why ESPN did all those layoffs. They did it to get rid of anyone who has a conservative voice, because sports has a traditionally conservative voice. They just wiped it out, and they're hiring all people with that 10% voice, that one liberal 10%, not just liberal, but like extreme liberal, extreme over here views, which are okay with like a, one voice, only one voice is heard. And it's not just one voice, but there is an actual, like, there's a script, and you have to follow the script to the exact letter of the law. And that's just not us. I love our differences. I love hearing differences. And I am having such a hard time finding people. Like, I look at my group and I'm like, God, we are all differences. Like, we are so very differences. Like, we don't even talk politics that much. Like, we're always shocked at the same things and and I forget that we have so many liberals in our group because we're always shocked at the same things. And a lot of times they're coming from conservative sites, but that's because that's the only sites they let up to actually publish that stuff. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. They're not even let up the moderate voices because they don't want you to know that independents are publishing it as well. Like, I'm an independent. Every time a state has allowed me to register as an independent, I have registered as an independent, which drives me nuts. It drives me nuts that our political system doesn't allow us it makes us register as one party or another. Oh, that's another topic. So my suggestion is that we boycott Starbucks, because advertisers, especially the ones who pay them the most money, they have a tremendous amount of power over what the media does. They have a tremendous amount of say. And if we stop buying Starbucks, if we tell them, stop the block, stop blocking us, and we make a dent in their wallet, that is what they care about more than anything. They care about their pocketbook. That's why they're giving us all the messages that they do. That's why they tell us to buy. That's why they tell us to sell. They just want to make money. So if we take away their money, I guess they'll have to let us speak, huh? We're finding ways around them anyway. They hate it. They hate that we're finding ways to connect anyway. Like, they got us this open internet thing, and now we're finding ways to connect anyway, and they hate that. Just let us speak. Like, you want your voice back? Stop buying Starbucks, because they're funding it. They are funding it. They are enabling them to buy the FCC airways and pay all of the licensing fees and everything. It's Starbucks who is funding the blocking. They're funding all the employees' salaries. It's Starbucks that's in funding it. It's one of their largest advertisers. And it is easy not to buy Starbucks. You go to Pete's Coffee. You go to Dunkin' Donuts. You go somewhere else. I personally am going to go to Panera. There is a Panera right across the street from my Starbucks. That's where we're going to go for our coffee, because that doesn't cost me as much as my free speech does. I want the blocks removed. I want them removed. And I am going to stop buying Starbucks until they are removed. And my request is that, yes, I am no longer going to ask you to buy me a coffee. I'm just going to say PayPal donations for now. And I ask that you share this video. Please join me. Hashtag stop the block and hashtag boycott Starbucks. Please share this. I love you guys. Peace out.